took me 20 years to overcome my first tee nerves. I'll teach you how to do the same in 10 minutes. Here are 9 ways a golfer of any level can step up to the first tee with more confidence. Hi, my name is Sherman. I'm the author of the 4 Foundations of Golf, and on this channel, I'm teaching you how to play golf, not golf swing. Let's get into it. Number 1, you have to think rationally about what the first tee really represents. Tiger Woods has won 5 green jackets, but his performance on the first hole of Augusta National is borderline disastrous. It's actually his worst hole on the course from a scoring perspective at a whopping 17 over par. And this reveals an important truth that you have to believe down to your core. Your opening tee shot and even your score on the first hole is not a great predictor on how your round is going to go. People will say that you need to hit a great opening tee shot to set the tone for your round. This just isn't true. I've had plenty of rounds at this point where I've shot under par after a horrible opening tee shot. Last year, I topped my opening tee shot into the fescue at the Long Island Mid-Amateur Championship, which is the first time I had done that in probably a decade. But that didn't stop me from having a pretty good tournament and finishing in the top 20. Now, if you could accept what the first tee shot represents, which is really just one shot in your round, the less importance you can place on it and calm yourself down a bit and be at ease with whatever's going to happen to you. Of course, you want to stripe your driver down the middle of the fairway, but just know that if you don't, it's not the end of the world and there is plenty of time to right the ship. When I asked on Twitter what are some ways to overcome first tee nerves, I got over 1,000 responses. And Masters champion Trevor Immelman had a great response. It's an unwinnable fight. Expect it, accept it, enjoy it, and move on. And Bitcoin Skywalker 21 also had some great words of wisdom. It's just golf, bro. It ain't that serious. All right, let's move on to point number 2. Take comfort in everyone else's discomfort. Every golfer who cares about their game is going to get nervous on the first tee at some point, even the best players in the world. It's because we work hard on our games and we care about playing well, which is totally normal. But just know that no matter how relaxed and calm others might seem on the first tee, it's likely that they've got some butterflies in their stomach, perhaps way more than you would assume. So many golfers are scared of embarrassing themselves and hitting an absolute dud of an opening shot. But there are 2 truths that you really need to know. The first is that we've all done it and we're not going to stop doing it. No one is spared from this happening. And the second truth is that almost everyone you play with is mostly thinking about themselves on the opening tee shot. Yeah, of course they might notice what you do, but their minds will quickly get back to what they're worrying about, which is their own tee shot. This is called the spotlight effect, where we grossly overestimate how much others are thinking about us when they are mostly concerned with themselves. And I think this plays out a lot in golf. So just know that you're not alone and it's totally normal to get a little worried and scared of what could happen on the first tee. Number 3, you've got to lean into it. It's very easy to let your fear of embarrassment on the first tee make you feel like a turtle going back into its shell. You might choose an iron because that feels safer. You might feel like you need to swing a little bit slower and more controlled to hit a better shot. But I can tell you from plenty of experience that that strategy does not work out in the long run. You really need to do the exact opposite, as uncomfortable as it is. You need to challenge yourself to take the shot on. And I believe this is one of the main benefits of playing competitive golf and putting more pressure on yourself. I've hit hundreds of opening tee shots in stroke play tourneys at this point. I've hit tops, pull hooks, I've lost balls, and pretty much every other bad thing that can happen to you has happened to me. But I've also hit enough great shots to gain confidence and, more importantly, experience. And I just know that it's really not that big of a deal, and my best option is to just embrace the difficulty of it and see what happens. So try and flip the script a bit and embrace that first tee shot rather than letting it dominate you. All right, let's move on to number 4, which I believe might be the most important. You need to make a plan. The last thing you want to do on the first tee is be uncommitted to your target and club selection. That's why I always tell golfers that they should do their homework beforehand. You want to make as many decisions as you can before you step on the course. This is a surefire way to remove a lot of indecision and anxiety on the first tee box. You want to know exactly where you're aiming and what club you're going to hit before you even get there. A lot of mistakes in golf happen because you just don't have a clear image in your head of the shot and the target that you should hit. Making a last-minute decision over the last 5 seconds doesn't usually work out well. Now with technology, it's really easy to use Google Maps or many of the other GPS apps out there to plan your opening tee shot. The one I've been using for the last 3 seasons is called Shot Pattern. And I want to give a huge thank you to them for sponsoring this video and supporting my YouTube channel. Shot Pattern is a golf GPS and stats app that puts strategy and target selection in the forefront. It's built to help you learn, see, and understand your shot dispersion so that you can pick smarter targets based on your personalized data, and more importantly, shoot lower scores. So when I'm making a plan for the course, I can quickly overlay my shot dispersions for each club with the layout of the hole and make the right decision. This app is incredibly intuitive and easy to use, and it's saved me a ton of times over hemming and hawing with Google Maps. And it even offers a strokes gain predictor where you can compare clubs based on your shot history so that you get a data-driven answer as to whether or not you should send driver or perhaps lay back. So if you want to have confidence in your first tee strategy, as well as every other tee shot and approach shot you hit, I highly recommend checking Shot Pattern out. New subscribers can get 20% off a 1-year subscription by using promo code PRACTICALGOLF or visit the link I have in the description of the video. So in short, you want to do your homework and make a plan for your first tee shot, and more importantly, all the other shots you're going to hit that day. Don't second guess yourself. I promise this is going to help you with first tee jitters. Let's get into number 5 now. Routine, routine, routine. As I said, I've hit so many opening tee shots in tournaments and plenty of other rounds, and the thing that helps calm my nerves is doing the exact same thing over and over again. I'm going to put my tee in the ground, do the same swing rehearsals, and stand behind the ball and align myself in exactly the same way. This is a great way to signal to my sometimes crazy brain that this is familiar and comfortable to me. I've done it so many times that I'm not even really thinking about it anymore. This thing is on autopilot. So this is why having some type of pre-shot rehearsal is really helpful to golfers of all levels. Now, it doesn't need to be long. In fact, I would say shorter is better, but it needs to be something specific and familiar to you. You should use this routine when you practice and as much as possible on the course, and this is another way to alleviate some of those butterflies. Now, let's get on to point number 6 that I know a lot of you are guilty of. Do not take mulligans. If you and your buddies are generously giving each other breakfast balls all the time, what you're really doing is a disservice to all of your golf games. If you want to become a better golfer and move past your first tee nerves, don't accept a redo. It's really just a mental crutch. And I could say exactly the same thing about all those 4-foot gimmies that you might take from your buddies all the time. Listen, we've all done it, but in order to deal with the pressure on the course more effectively, you need to face the discomfort to break through. Again, this is why playing competitively, no matter what level it is, can help golfers by raising the bar of this discomfort and facing it. Number 7. You've got to do some breathing if you are really nervous. If opening tee jitters are giving you serious fear and anxiety, I'd highly recommend some of the breathing exercises that I've experimented with while I play golf, especially in tournaments, because I know they can really make a difference when I feel the worst and most nervous. Now, some of my personal favorites are as follows. Box breathing is really popular, which is where you time your inhale, hold, and exhale to the same number, usually to a count of 4. Another one popularized by Andrew Huberman is the Physiological Sigh. This is where you inhale deeply through your nose, and then you take a second smaller inhale, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. You can repeat this 2 or 3 times in a row, and you're gonna feel almost an immediate calming effect. I've been using this one more often lately, and I really like it. Last but not least is the 4-7-8 method. I did this a couple of years ago when I was in the locker room before I was about to tee off at the US Mid-Am, and I was quite nervous. So with this method, you inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then exhale for a count of 8. And you can repeat that for several cycles. So you can try out these, and there's some other ones, and see which ones give you the best results. But I think you'll be surprised at how calming this can be right before that opening first shot. Now here's another mistake that all golfers make. Number 8, give yourself time to get ready. If you want to give yourself the best chance possible of hitting a good opening drive, try not to run from the parking lot to the first tee if possible. Now, I know not every golf course doesn't have a driving range, but everyone has the ability to go through a 5 or 10 minute dynamic warm-up. The goal is really simple. get your body ready. Doing things like leg swings, arm circles, torso twists, lunges, etc. These are gonna get your hips and shoulders loosened up and your body ready for more intense movement, i.e. the golf swing. So if you are able to hit balls and you are a little nervous about the first tee shot, use the last 4 or 5 balls in your bucket to mentally rehearse the shot. Use the club you're going to hit and picture the target as best you can. Let's finish up with number 9, which I think might be the most important point of this video. You need to keep reminding yourself that this is not that big of a deal. You might hit 80, 90, or over 100 shots in your round of golf. The first one does not have to set the tone for the rest. And if that line of thinking backfires, just remember, we're all on a tiny rock in the middle of space, flying around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. We aren't even a grain of sand on the beach of the cosmos. So pick your target, commit, and just let it rip. Everything's gonna be fine no matter what happens. Now, if you have any other suggestions for overcoming the first tee nerves, be sure to leave them in the comments. Let's help each other out with our experiences and some fixes we've had. And don't miss my last video on what you should be thinking about when you swing. That can help you too.